appreciate you getting up for us.
No problem. New York keeps you up.
Well, you've been here before.
Yeah.
You coached at Columbia, and this has been a bit of a homecoming. You come into the studios. Everybody knows you around here. Let's take pictures with Coach Smith.
Rarely. Jerry Recco, our former play-by-play guy at Columbia, who's obviously works on with Boomer and that. And it was just funny. You just ran into him. It was great to see him.
I said, did you guys get in yesterday? You said, oh, no. We got in on Saturday. We are making the most of this week because you got a bunch of Northeastern kids around.
Yeah, no,
and staffers.
We were really excited just to be picked for the tournament, and then I just got my NIT playlist, and we're going Empire State of Mind, Sinatra, we're booming it. And,
is that right?
Oh yeah. Oh no doubt. Little Nas, we had it all going.
Look at that.
No, we're going, and I said if we get here, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
And obviously want to win in that, but it's a long ways to go, and so we got in Saturday, and my AD was like, let's just go Saturday. We got to adjust to the time, and we're staying right in Times Square and trying to keep our guys occupied, but it's been fun.
It's significant also because this could be the last NIT at the Garden, at least for a while.
Bummed about that. But I'm glad we made it.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys made it too because you could appreciate that history behind it. 80-some-odd years of the NIT at Madison Square Garden. They could bring it to Vegas, which would be closer for you guys. I guess they could go other places, but there's a certain significance, historical significance.
You know what? It is the whole brand. I know, obviously the NCAA and that stuff, but as far as like coaches and players, it's a better tournament. I know it sounds crazy as far as the home atmospheres and really for your home base, your fans, they like get excited about it. Like it builds itself. The first game's usually like if you're really on the bubble and you miss, you're like, I hope our guys show up. But as you advance, it's pretty cool. BYU had, I think, 17,000.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing those final 8 games. And I think I saw St. Bonnie's, where they play. They beat Virginia. Virginia, that was a nice little crowd, and it's kind of unique to each program, but the goal is to get to the Big Apple and the whole bit, and so I think that's the whole thing of the tournament to get here. So
yeah, okay, so interesting. So you think that the NIT tournament's actually it's a more user-friendly tournament?
It's a more exciting game, and it sounds crazy, but like in the NCAA tournament, it's awesome. You want to be in that NCAA tournament. Don't get it wrong, but you are playing like in a vacuum. It's not that far off COVID. If it's the wrong town, like. I remember I was at St. Mary's. I played at Oklahoma City, and your fans aren't going to travel out there, and there's some empty seats or whatever. Like Kansas was playing in there, so they weren't filling up. So it's still great. It's where you want to be, and obviously when you win in that tournament, it's a whole nother deal. But that home advantage and atmosphere is really college basketball is all about.
Washington State head coach Kyle Smith joins us this morning on the show. They're into the Final Four of the NIT. Shaheen Holloway had some really funny quotes, interesting quotes, insightful quotes about his team. And he said, look, I got a bunch of kids from New York and New Jersey. We're not scared of anything here. We don't consider ourselves Cinderellas. We belong. You've got a couple of New York area kids on the program as well. Do you find that they're wired a little bit differently? Absolutely. Just growing up in New York is going to be a unique experience, to say the least. And you're dealing with so many different things and that, and it's competitive. Like I said, I've been waiting for someone to steal this from me, but I always described New York, every conversation is a negotiation. Right? And I learned this when I was ordering an egg sandwich and they put the wrong thing on there, and I go, hey, I said no ketchup. And he looked at me and he goes, no, you said ketchup. And I finally bowed up. I said, nah. I said no ketchup. And you know what he did? He threw it away and made another one. Didn't bat an eye. And I said, it's required pushback. You got to fight a little bit. It's cultural. It really is. And I was living in California for 20 years before that, so it took me a good 4 months to adjust back to, all right, I'm in New York now. If you say no ketchup on the West Coast, they go, I'm so sorry, Mr. Smith. Let me get you another one. That's real. We'll give you 2 free ones because we made this mistake. Could you please, please, please ever forgive us? That's real. It really is. That's a difference. And the other one's just like, I'm not making another sandwich. You said ketchup. Better, if you want to get another sandwich, you better bring it. Hey, bud, you said ketchup. I can't make another one, all right? Yeah, and if he's trying to intimidate you, it'll be like, all right, I'll just give you the ketchup. That's. And you do have to pick which times you bow up, because if you try to fight your way through everything over the course of the day, you'll find yourself exhausted. No question. Well, there's 2 types of New Yorkers too. Now that I've lived outside of New York, there's the ones that leave New York and they go, man, I'm never going back. Right. And they're like, oh, that's a rat race. And there's ones that go there and like 3 months later, I got to get back. I can't live without. They're the ones that want
They like the conversation. They like the competition every second of the day. Like just the hustle, get on the train, everything. They love the hustle. It's true.
It's so true. It's so true. So you guys will be here for a number of days. Do you have like sightseeing for your guys, events for your guys, or is it all basketball?
We try to go two things a day.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, the first night we got in like at 8, and then we have some. I was lucky we have some friends from my Columbia days that have this really nice place on 108th in Amsterdam. It's a penthouse rooftop. Our guys had no idea.
Cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. So kind of, I was just trying to contain them. Like, hey, give them a nice meal, let them see the sights, the kind of entry into New York. We've planned this thing out.
Nice.
Then practice. Obviously, we had a good practice, and then we're sleeping in because we're still on West Coast time. Then we were able to go to the Nets Hornets game last night.
Oh, cool.
And then today we're simple. We're now going game mode. We'll go practice, and I think we're going to be able to practice at the Nets facility. So that's a good 40-minute drive out. Let's chew up the day, and then we're going to. I'll give a shameless plug for Carmine's we'll get a little Carmine's family. Yeah, like it's finish
family style Italian.
And if we win this, and we're going uptown Wednesday. We got to win though. Then we haven't chose Sylvia's or Red Rooster. We're going in.
You have mapped this thing out.
Trust
I love
me.
This.
I wasn't joking. I said on the playlist. I said New York. My wife was so excited. Derek Phelps, legendary point guard from Christ the King, and he's still got family here, and it's great.
That is awesome. When you play in a conference such as the Ivies with Columbia or the West Coast Conference with San Francisco, do you watch a story like St. Peter's and get jazzed up because it represents everybody, or is that kind of?
I used to.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side now.
Well, now you are.
Squash them like ants. Get them out of there. In all seriousness, I coached in the West Coast Conference 20 years in Ivy League, and they're good programs then. You're like, you just want to get a little oxygen. Well, now I got the Pac-12. We only got 3 teams in. I said, we're good. And then I'm like, they're lobbying for WCC to get 4, and they had 2 6-loss teams in league, BYU and San Francisco. Are talking about 4, and I'm like, no. And so I'm glad we got Santa Clara and BYU. I'm like, no. And the Mountain West had 4, and they went 0-5 in postseason. Like, no. I coached at that level. I'm in the Pac-12. This was the reason to leave is we were going to get more options. So, yeah, back then I used to. But, no, it's a great story, and it's really ridiculous.
How daunting was the job that Shaheen Holloway took over?
Oh.
You would know from the inside. How
even more. You know what? We went to St. Mary's, Randy Bennett and I, in 2001. They were 2-27, and it was 2,400 students, similar ideals. No geographical location by the name. The brand is same as St. Peter's. No one knows where it is. Well, no, there's 6 other St. Mary's crosses, so I can identify there. In our first meeting with the AD, he goes, well, I met with the trustees. We're not going Division III. So it's along the same lines in St. Peter's, Jersey City.
You're holding on for dear life.
Oh, and I know John Dunn was there before, who I played against in college, and he went to Marist. He went up in the league. St. Mary's took another job in the league because it's just better facilities, better. It's a really I can't really think of. It's not far different than FDU going, or something like that going to the Final 8. It's unbelievable.
It's outrageous. Yeah. Kyle Smith joins us, head coach at Washington State. They're in the Final Four of the NIT, and you guys have built it brick by brick at Wazoo. You guys went 16-16 in year number 1. You were there, then 14-13 last season, limited year. This year, 22 wins, tied for 5th in the Pac-12. You're the NIT, so the trajectory is going up. You have yet to make an NCAA tournament as a head coach. Do you think about your reaction when you finally do that?
I hope I do it. No, I hadn't really thought about the reaction. It'd be great. I think I'll be honest, we are poised to do it. If we retention's so important this time of year. So retain our group. We should be projected in there, and we got to really handle that expectation. So it'll be a lot of stress. But no, it'll be exciting about it. I'm ashamed that we didn't win the CBI a couple of years ago at San Francisco. We lost in the finals, or else I could be looking at the Triple Crown, the CIT, CBI, and NIT. And
huge. That makes a career right there.
Let me tell you, ladies, watch out. This guy's tough in those tournaments. Let's go. So we didn't get the CBI, so we'll go hopefully get 2 out of 3.
When it comes to Washington State and trying to build something inside the Pac-12. Something like this can really help, though, right? Because you get postseason experience for the guys that come back. It's pretty huge.
Absolutely. Hopefully, in what kind of I've been trained is to build a program, and I just haven't stayed around long enough. I was 6 years at Columbia, got it up to 25 wins. San Francisco 321 season. So hopefully we get something that's sustainable, because at Washington State you have to be, and like kind of we model ourselves after what Tony Bennett and Dick Bennett did, and then Tony left and kind of weren't able to sustain that. So hopefully Washington State has to be able to sustain it. All right, we got to 5th. Now we got to stay here. We got to keep going and incrementally get better, so we can be a tournament team. I don't know if it's, and I think you do that. I don't think there's enough people doing that, especially with today's one and dones or portal guys. We need some guys that are homegrown and do well on that.
Transfer portal good for you or bad for you? I mean, it seems like it's such a headache.
It's a headache, but I think I always like the smart take from the strong. I think that's Pete Carrill's quote. You got to be fluid. You got to know what you're doing. I think the natural jobs always have the UCLA's and Kentucky's have all the advantages. So I just think more chaos the better for Washington State. There's more randomness. The more we got to be shrewd. We got to figure it out. We got to get the right fit. If it's just that's why I liked recruiting. I liked it was just open season everywhere. But then they try to get these only certain sites where guys can go. So yeah, if you're sitting there and you're Mike Krzyzewski sitting there, we have to bring all the players to all the coaches, then it makes it a little harder to close the gap.
I guess it's the retention thing that I find to be so difficult for coaches, is that you've recruited a kid to get to campus, you've sold him on the experience, and then every minute that he doesn't play, you have to worry that it's another reason he would leave, and there is no penalty. And I like player empowerment to a certain degree. Yeah. I like not penalizing kids for transferring, because coaches don't get penalized for taking a new job. And yet I could only imagine trying to persuade 18 and 19-year-olds to not only come to campus, but then never leave because they have a green light.
I'm rare. I'm more of a free market guy that would be like, we got to do a great job. If we do what we're talking, all we're really talking about is having a great attitude, be appreciative, work hard, and make the big time where you're at. So we don't, Pullman's not for everybody. It's a really fun college town that's really centered around college. So our guys, turns out they like it. But I think my part is like on the front end, we talk about that. And if you have a good experience, you'll want to stay. That's kind of deal. Now, we don't, it happens, and you've got to run the risk. You've got to be careful. But if you run scared, like if he's not playing, he might leave, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And there's other guys but I don't want to be in that mode. Like, well, there are ways to get guys now that if you do lose someone, you can replace. And when we got the job, there wasn't the immediate eligibility. So we had like 9 scholarships to fill and had no official visits. So I wasn't sleeping much. And somehow we survived it. And it's a little easier to take a job now because there is like a transfer portal. You can find guys.
How much sleep does a head coach in Division I get?
I'm sure it varies. I've never slept that much, but I'm solid 4 every night.
Good, you're getting 4.
4.
We wake up at 3 a.m. and 4 sounds daunting.
How much do you get?
I get 5.
That's
I
solid.
Sleep 11 to 4, but then I always get a nap in during the day.
I get that. Don't worry. I've got a couch. I got a couch in my office.
Okay, so you're a nap guy too.
A quickie though. It's like a
half hour.
Nah, I wish
20,
15. 15, 20 does it.
Will 15 get your recharge?
It does. I kick out the thing that the feet come out. It's like really. Well, I'll be watching film and I'll just. The older you get doing this, the film really is a great sedative. The film is just like, boom.
Yeah, when you're watching Seattle U film for the 3rd time in 4 days, you're like, ah.
Those were my assistant days.
Okay.
Don't you worry. I'm watching the film edit. When I can't get through the edit and I'm napping, that's the trigger.
You're like, guys, cue up the quick cut, make it 2 minutes instead of 4.
I got to be honest, it's true. I'll do it too, but the guy I work for, Randy Bennett's maniacal. He's a great coach. My best coach, him and Mark Few might be the 2 best. They're in the same league. But he's like Belichick. I mean, it's like the training there for the film, stuff like that. So I can't keep up. I realized when I got to Columbia, we play back-to-back, and I'm trying to watch like 4 films at night. I'm like, next thing I know, I didn't sleep at all. So I've had to adjust that where there's not as much film.
I don't understand how wives do it of college coaches because, and I guess every coach and professional as well, but you start off low scale, low pay scale, crazy hours, and then you have to hope you move. It's like every year you want to uproot that's the better option, to uproot the family, change schools, buy a new house. And the wives do this for all these coaches. I just think wives of coaches, if you're really in that grind, up, are saints.
That's indisputable. My wife's a saint. I describe her as my better three-quarters, so you can steal that. No one's ever thrown that one back. I stole it from someone. So, and she's from Lake Chelan, Washington, which is a big part of why I got the job. This is crazy. It's like,
really?
Well, there's not a lot of people in that area, and so here's a coach that's quasi-qualified that has a wife.
Quasi-qualified?
That has a wife that's from the area, and she's like a Class B legend in the state of Washington.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And it's crazy. This story won't leave me, man. She had 50 in a high school game. It's Class B. It goes 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, B. But this B thing's real in the eastern part of the state, all these little towns, and it's like, it's a little Hoosier-esque. And so I'll run into it. She's more famous than me in the state, I swear. In certain pockets, the small towns. So if there's don't tell my agent or my AD that when I'm like, hey, there's a job, she's like, she's like, I did New York, I did San Francisco. She loved it, but I got her too close to home.
And those are really good options to live in New York City and San Francisco.
Amen.
And she's like, I want to stay in Pullman.
You try raising three kids in Manhattan, 115th and Broadway in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Oh.
That's what she was doing. So when she says like, we got to where we have some space, she's like,
we got a yard.
Oh yeah,
finally got a yard.
You should see. I'm staring at like acreage.
Yeah,
it's not ours, but it's like just wheat fields, and it's just like it couldn't be more different.
Are you an outdoors guy?
No. No.
You just got the grass.
No, I'm a coach. I'm in the gym. She is. The kids are. I'm a gym guy. What do you mean? There's no coaches Mark Few's the one. He's out there fly fishing.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're just different. He's just like the best, highest winning percentage, and he's out there fly fishing all the time. Invites me. I'm like, how? When? What do you do this? So, different world.
Well, now he gets the Chet Holmgrens of the world. So Jalen Suggs of the world. They just show up on his doorstep.
Yeah.
Do you believe doing that at Gonzaga?
Because it's funny because I was coaching. We're all kind of the same. Even when they just made their move, I was like, they're 92, and they started to get good, and I was like, they kept on saying, we're going to win the league. I'm like, get out of here. And there's like, we're going to be consistent in state tournaments. Stop it. And then eventually it's like, all right, it's unbelievable what they've done. And he's the brain trust. He's the branding. He made this thing, kind of like Notre Dame football was when Lou Holtz was around. They should go independent, or whatever. I don't know. They're just kind of their own deal. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, really exciting for you guys. Washington State takes on Texas A&M tomorrow night in Game 2 at Madison Square Garden, so you can watch that on ESPN. Of course, you can check it out as well in person. The NIT Final Four is set. Head coach Kyle Smith is at Washington State, third year now at Wazoo, and nice enough to come on by, man. I'm so glad you got to hang out with us today.
No, thanks for having me, man. I'm relishing the whole New York bit, man.
Right on.
Our guys are sleeping. They asked for players. I was like, nah, they're sleeping. We need a chance.
What's funny is that they told me that Buzz has been up, but he wasn't coming in today, so the players were coming in. But you're also up, but you were going to come by.
I would say this about Buzz. Like, he is anal retentive, and I've known him since he's like 18. And if I text him right now, he'd text me back. And it could be 2 years. He's one of those guys.
He's reading 4 books a month, they told me.
I don't know. If I text him, he'll text me back. I just tell you that much. But he probably is. He doesn't sleep much, I'm sure of that.
No. If you get 4, he gets 2.
Yeah, no question.